This is Motoring Today, the Philippines' premier and longest-running weekly motoring news and features TV and online magazine. I'm Ray Louie Gamboa.
And I'm Susie Gamboa. Here are this week's features to watch out for. On Motoring Forum, we shall discuss the significance of LTO's Land Transportation Management System. A road safety reminder on the Young Street Smarts portion centers on the rules regarding traffic lights. This week's Paying Choper shall be about the wearing of proper uniform of PUV drivers. Showcase this week shall have the van from Maxxis, the G10. While for race weekend, we shall have the highlights of the first round of the 2023 Super Sprint.
All these plus the latest news in transportation and traffic management, as well as developments in the automotive industry, are on this week's edition of Motoring Today. Join us.
Mitsubishi Strada Athlete, confident to the core.
Welcome back to Motoring Today. Here now are the latest news and developments in the country's transportation and traffic management. Transport groups are not happy about the fare discount program announced recently by the Department of Transportation.
The Department of Transportation has announced that public utility vehicles in Metro Manila, including traditional and modern jeepneys, as well as buses and UV Express units, will be rolling back fares at the start of next month. This will be part of a fare discount program that will replace the Libreng Sakay program on the EDSA carousel and will use the 2.1 billion funding allocated for the service contracting program for this year, according to the DOTR. The Land Transportation Franchising Regulatory Board said that under the discount program, which begins on April 1 and will last at least 6 months, the minimum fare will revert to 9 pesos on traditional jeepneys and 11 pesos on modern jeepneys, while bus fares will be reduced to 3 to 4 pesos. The discounted rates on UV Express services are still being studied, the LTFRB said. However, transport groups are concerned over the mechanisms of processes for how PUV operators will be compensated for giving the discounts mandated by government. In a radio interview, Mar Valbuena, president of Manibela, said not all jeepney routes would be covered by the fare discount program, resulting in confusion among drivers and passengers. Valbuena said that DOTR should not have announced the fare discounts without finalizing the mechanics for its implementation and clarifying which routes are covered by the program.
The DOTR and the LTFRB should ensure that transport operators are immediately and fairly compensated for implementing the discounts. They should also ensure the funds meant to provide relief to the commuters all go to the transport operators who provide the discounted service. Meanwhile, a Supreme Court ruling affirms the power of the Department of Transportation, the Land Transportation Office, and the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board to oversee and impose penalties on public utility vehicles.
The Supreme Court has ruled a constitutional department order number 2008-39 of the Land Transportation Office and Joint Administrative Order number 2014-01, issued by the then Department of Transportation and Communications, the LTO, and the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board. The orders in question impose stiff penalties on operators and drivers of so-called colorum public utility vehicles or those operating without franchises. and those operating out of line and other violation of their certificate of public convenience. The orders also revise the schedule of fines and penalties for violations of traffic rules and regulations. Transport groups had earlier filed petitions in the courts questioning the constitutionality of the DOTC, LTO, and LTFRB orders imposing harsh penalties. The petitioners argued that the LTO and LTFRB, being attached agencies, had no power to establish and prescribe vague rules and regulations relating to the enforcement of laws governing transportation. A Baguio City Regional Trial Court had ruled in favor of the transport groups back in May of 2012, and the ruling was later upheld in the Court of Appeals in November of the same year. Brought before the highest court of the land, the orders imposing stiffer penalties on erring POVs and drivers were declared constitutional by the Supreme Court. In its ruling, the SC said and fined, this court fails to see how the issuance of DO number 2008-39 and its amended version, GAO number 2014-01, is an outright affront to the Constitution and an intrusion to private rights. If at all, the SCL orders only serve to further the initiatives of the state concerning anything that proves to be a menace to public safety and welfare. The High Court added that the rules regulating land transportation designed for the safety and convenience of the riding public must be strictly complied with.
Colorum operators as well as undisciplined PUV drivers are among the main causes of traffic congestion and gridlock in Metro Manila and other urban areas. It's high time for authorities to strictly impose fines and penalties on violators. Continuing, the LTFRB is working to ensure adequate public transport to Holy Week travelers.
The Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board is processing special permits for 712 bus units to augment the number of buses going from Metro Manila to the provinces and vice versa in time for the Holy Week. This is meant to ensure that there are enough buses to meet the expected surge in demand for public transport during the Holy Week. These special permits will be valid from March 31 to April 17. In extending the validity of the special permits for additional buses beyond the Holy Week, the LTFRB said this was in anticipation of the bulk of passengers going home to their respective provinces owing to the long holidays, less travel restrictions, and opening of the country's economy. LTFRB Technical Division Chief Joy Bolano said bus terminals in Metro Manila will be inspected to ensure ample facilities for passengers, especially at the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange and the Araneta Bus Terminal in Cubao, Quezon City.
People have returned to traveling in good numbers after nearly 3 years of travel restrictions. The LTFRB should be commended for ensuring that there are buses to meet those numbers. And finally, the Holy Week will see bus terminals crowded with passengers heading home to the provinces. This will test the capacity and preparedness of such terminals as the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange.
The Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange expects more than 1 million passengers to pass through its facilities before and after the Holy Week. According to Jason Salvador, PITX Corporate Affairs and Government Relations Head, the PITX is prepared to ensure the commuting public's welfare through the Oplan Biyaheng Ayos Semana Santa 2023. This is a multi-sector initiative undertaken in partnership with the Department of Transportation, the Metro Manila Development Authority, the Interagency Council for Traffic, the Land Transportation Office, the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, the Philippine National Police, and the Philippine National Red Cross Parañaque Chapter. A Malasakit help desk would be set up on April 1 at the main entrance of the PITX, manned by personnel from the DOTR, IAC, LTO, LTFRB, MMDA. Red Cross Parañaque Chapter will deploy emergency medical technicians. The PNP will be conducting 24-hour mobile patrol by augment K9 units at the terminal. Salvador added that commuters will enjoy well-maintained restrooms, adequate seating, fast free Wi-Fi, charging stations for mobiles, as well as retail and food stalls.
The Holy Week exodus is expected to also show if the DOTR is right in pushing for the establishment of integrated bus terminals at the periphery of Metro Manila to better serve commuters. And those are the latest news and developments in transportation and traffic management. Coming up next is Motoring Forum, brought to you by Suzuki Philippines. Is the Land Transportation Management System of the Land Transportation Office ready for online renewal of vehicle registration? Is the LTMS now safe from glitches and bugs? Can fixers game the system? Motoring Forum discusses these and other concerns about the LTMS.
The Department of Transportation and its line agencies, the Land Transportation Office, as well as the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board appear to have embraced digital and online processes in providing public services. The LTO in particular has moved to make it easier to apply for and renew driver's licenses through its Land Transportation Management System portal without the need to go to LTO district offices. Lately, the LTO has announced that owners can now renew the registration of their motor vehicles online, also using the LTMS portal, as long as its earlier renewal has been completed using the portal. The owner of the motor vehicle to be renewed also needs to have an LTMS portal account. The vehicle still needs to undergo roadworthiness and emission testing at accredited private motor vehicle inspection centers and be covered by insurance. However, recent reports of complaints by individuals having problems in renewing licenses and vehicle registrations have called into question the integrity of LTMS and LTO's new ID platform. When complainant said his LTMS account showed he had incurred a traffic violation while riding a motorcycle in Iloilo back in 2018. The complainant said he has never owned or ridden a motorcycle and that he has never been to Iloilo. Another complaint was from a motor vehicle owner who couldn't renew the registration because LTMS record showed another vehicle of the same make had been registered and issued the same plate numbers. Then there was a case of an old and derelict truck that was obviously not roadworthy but to have found a valid LTO registration. The vehicle could not have passed even a cursory inspection for roadworthiness, much less emission testing. Many believe these reports can be isolated and that more irregularities can be discovered which call into question the integrity and efficiency of the LTMS and other related IT systems of the LTO. Already some senators, including Senate Minority Leader Aquilino Pimentel III, are calling for a review of LTO's ID contract with joint venture of Thermalog Identification System, Holy Family Printing Corp, Microgenesis, and Verzontal Builders. Pimentel is also questioning why Thermalog was paid even before it had completed the IT project.
As with all digital and IT platforms, the integrity of the LTMS can only be as good or bad as that of the people implementing, maintaining, overseeing, and auditing the system. That's our Motoring Forum this week, courtesy of Suzuki Philippines.
At the core of Toyota Gazoo racing lies motorsports DNA. Combine that with the Philippines' best-selling sedan, you get the Vios GRS. Its black accent details and aero kit upgrade capture the feel and excitement on the track, and the 10-speed CVT that exudes the TGR competitive spirit. On the road or on the track, always be ready for a heart-racing, exhilarating ride. The Vios GRS. Bring on the thrill.
The Mitsubishi Strada Athlete, confident to the core.
You are back with us here on Motoring Today, and we now have this week's important motoring tips, starting off with some road safety reminders from Toyota Motor Philippines. Isa sa mga pinakamahalagang traffic rules ay ang pagsunod sa traffic lights. Maging ikaw ay pedestrian or driver, you should always learn how to obey the traffic lights. Continuing with this week's edition of Motoring Today, let's now focus on proper driver's demeanor, especially for those driving PUVs. Here's Payong Chuper this week.
Payong Chuper lang, kaibigan. Ako si Ka Jojo Martin, isang kapwa nyo Chuper. Maging maayos sa pananamit tuwing papasada.
Kung gusto nating makarami ng pasahero, gawin nating presentable ang ating mga sarili sa tuwing tayo ay magmamaneho. Ugaliing isuot ang uniform ng samahan na iyong kinabibilangan kapag papasada sa daan. Iwasang magsuot ng mga pambahay na damit katulad ng sando at tsinelas kung ayaw mong ang pasahero ang umiwas at magalit.
Tandaan, kapag maayos ang kasuotan, pasahero ay iyong kaibigan. Ito po si Ka Jojo Martin. Payong Chuper lang, kaibigan, mula sa isang kapwa nyo Chuper.
Mitsubishi Strada athlete, confident to the core.
Welcome back to Motoring Today. World of Motorsport is next.
In motorsports news, also getting off to a great start at the 2023 motorsport season is Super Sprint, with round 1 held at the R33 Drift Track. Super Sprint is all about setting the best time around a course defined by pylons. The competition is held in several classes determined by the amount and kind of modifications done to the car in the competition. At the end of an action-packed round 1, Ria M. Tristel Santos was quickest in the Street 2 category. Marcelo Elumba in the AM Street Modified 1, Carlos Miguel Briones in AM Street Modified 2, and Marvin Jason Matira in AM Street Modified 3. Carl Andrew Male was fastest around the course in the INT Street Modified 1 as well as in the Intermediate Street Modified 2 classes. VJ Bakungan was fastest in the INT Street Modified 3 class. Paulo Mari Macaraig ruled the AM Super Street 1 category, Carlos Miguel Briones the AM Super Street 2, and Eugene Luis Urbano the AM Super Street 3 class. Carl Andrew Malen also dominated the INT Super Street 1 and 2 categories. Arnold Javier was fastest in the INT Super Street 3 class. In the Prep A1 class, it was Ralph Cadiz on top of the timesheets. Adrian Paulo Javier topped the Prep A3 class. Christine Torres ruled Prep B1 class, Richard Gallardo the Prep B2 category, and Arnold Javier the Prep B class. Ringo Greg Abadisho was best in the Prep C class, Arnold Javier the Prep C3. JC Claro set the fastest time in the Prep D1 class, Richard Gallardo in the Prep D2 class, and Arnold Javier in the Prep D3 class. In other motorsports news, the Full Throttle Weekend Toge Battle returned to the Batangas Racing Circuit in another season of Fox and Rabbit Racing. Round 1 drew Toge Battle newbies and veterans to the BRC to test their cars and racing skills on the track. Racers at the 2023 FTW Toge Battle compete in several categories: Bantam, Economy, Regular, Premium Turbo Plus, Prestige, Race 3, Race 2, and Race 1. After the time trials, the racers compete head-to-head for one lap around the track, one starting a number of seconds ahead of the other, and the winner determined by whether the time gap gets shorter or longer, or if the chase car overtakes the lead car. Round 1 of the FTW Toge Battle saw Carl Mallet topping the Bantam class, Krisha De Torres the Economy class, Eliel Alonso the Regular class, Christopher Gore ruled the Premium class, Colonel Castillo the Turbo Plus, and Zachary Mendoza the Prestige. Angelo Magdotto earned top honors in the Race 1 category, Sander Perez in Race 2, and J. Organ in Race 3.
More on the world of motorsports here on Motoring Today, as we now give you Race Weekend. The 2023 Super Sprint season was flagged off at the R33 Drift Track in San Simon, Pampanga, providing newbies as well as more experienced racers a relatively inexpensive and safe venue to enjoy racing as well as to learn and hone performance driving skills. Race Weekend shows us the highlights.
We are now here at R33 for the first round of the 2023 ISIN Super Sprint Series. Today's layout is rather technical. You cannot really go flat out all the time. You won't be able to hit the apex of the next turns. You have to think 2 turns ahead. This season, we will hold 4 rounds with additional 2 bonus rounds. We have beginners with stock cars and veterans with full-blown race cars. It's going to be exciting.
Okay naman yung track layout natin today. Medyo high speed siya. So far medyo naka-advantage tayo kasi maganda yung track layout natin. So magandang preparation din kasi para sa amin sa sumasali sa Philippine Autocross. Good thing maganda naman yung run natin itong araw na. Siguro yung advantage kasi yung layout natin more on high speed talaga siya. Medyo yung mas malakas na engine yun yung mas maganda yung naging result ng race siguro. Dahil dun sa track layout medyo high speed.
Nandito tayo ngayon sa R33 Drift Track. Currently, I'm driving a Fiore Eco, 2000 Fiore Eco. And 3 classes na yung sinalihan ko. So far, sobrang nag-enjoy ako dito. And I've started driving since I was 12 years old. And I started practicing autocross at around 13 or 14 years old that time. My dad and I, kami dalawa yung nag-start nito. Siya talaga yung nagturo sa akin. Yun yung naging bonding namin dalawa. All throughout the journey, si Papa yung kasama ko and siya yung naging inspiration ko. Siya nagturo sa akin, siya nag-involve sa akin sa mga kotse. And ang masasabi ko lang, payo ko lang sa mga kabataan dyan, kagaya ko na mainit din sa daan minsan, keep it on the track, not on the streets. Kasi sa track, well-organized, secured, and wala kang pwedeng magain kundi pylon at yung mga pader na walang tao. And instead sa public roads, matulin ka nga, pag nakabangga ka, makaka-aksidente ka pa, hindi lang sarili mo kundi ibang tao.
I think it's a step, mainly setting the clutches, water pump, and brake items and pistons. But we are also selling the wipers for the bigger product. We are becoming the one-stop shop to become everybody can buy a product from all the ice cream. We haven't had a chance to join such kind of events. So now we are more close to everybody, all the drivers, the car fans. So you can directly contact to us for what product you want from us, the IC.
Super Sprint fans and enthusiasts can hardly wait for the second of this year's 4-round season. Dates and venues yet to be finalized. And that's this week's World of Motorsports. We'll be back after this short break.
Kailangan ng maaasahan, kailangan ng matibay, pang matagalan kasama mo sa pag-unlad ng negosyo. Modernong disenyo, kaya-kaya ang kargo mo ng tatak na ito. Isuzu Travis, level up with Isuzu. Level up mo yung negosyo. Isuzu Travis, level up with Isuzu. Level up with Isuzu Travis.
Our Car of the Week is next on Showcase, courtesy of Prudential Guarantee. This showcase takes a look at a large minivan quietly making its presence felt in the segment, the Maxus G10.
There's a minivan drawing second looks on streets and the metro. It looks smart and stylish with sharp slanted character lines and curves and makes many ask the question, what is that minivan? What model? What brand? It's the Maxus G10 and at 5,168mm long, 1,980mm wide and 1,928mm tall with a 3,198mm wheelbase, the G10 fits nicely into the large minivan or van territory. The G10 possesses the basic look now favored by popular minivans and vans, the likes of the new Hi-Ace, Star-X, and perhaps this is what prompts the double takes. The back projector halogen headlights catches the eye as does the bumper design with the cutaways framing the fog lamp. The rear combination lamps are not quite as eye-catching but do use LEDs. The rear also features fog lamps. The side view mirrors adjust electronically and have integrated turn lights. The Maxus G10 is a 9-seat minivan with seats upholstered in leather fabric. The driver's seat can be adjusted 10 ways electronically, the front passenger's front ways. The sliding door opens to the rear cabin with 4 captain's chairs and the bench seat for 3. The captain's chair slides and reclines to get most legroom and comfort for 4. The rear bench seat for 3 reclines for comfort and tumbles to make space for luggage and other cargo. The dash is well laid out with easy-to-read dials and easy-to-reach controls. The leather on the 4-spoke steering wheel looks and feels good to grip. It also comes with the usual buttons and controls for audio and other functions. The G10 cabin provides comfort and convenience for all occupants. There are front and rear reading lights as well as front and rear air conditioning. Driver and front passenger benefit from power windows. A nod to today's need for powering devices is available 220-volt outlet. It comes with an audio system that features a 7-inch touchscreen display with USB and Bluetooth connectivity. The G10 is powered by a 1.9-liter turbocharged CRDI diesel engine that can deliver 150 PS and 350 Nm of torque and meets Euro 4 emission standards. Power and torque are sent to the rear wheels by a 6-speed automatic transmission. The Maxus G10 provides both a stable and comfortable ride for a large van, riding on a suspension system featuring McPherson struts in front and 5-link coil springs in the rear. The brake system uses discs on all 4 wheels, ventilated in front and solid in the rear. Parking is made easier with front and rear parking sensors and a reverse camera. The G10 also comes with standard driver assist and safety technologies that include anti-lock brake system with electronic brake force distribution and cruise control. Added for safety and security are dual airbags for driver and front seat passenger, side airbags, 3-point seat belts for 9, ISOFIX child seat, and immobilizer.
The Maxus G10 checks out a lot of boxes for a good large minivan and deserve a look-see and test drive from those looking for a daily drive for the family. That's our featured vehicle index we showcase, courtesy of Prudential Guarantee.
What do we go for? We go for experience. We go for excitement. We go for sport. We go for style. We go for fun. We go for the Toyota Wigo.
Welcome back to Motoring Today. The auto industry now takes center stage.
The annual event that brings together in one venue the country's biggest and best brands to showcase and provide test drives of their local lineup of vehicles returns this summer. The Autofocus Summer Test Drive Festival takes place on May 4 to 7 at the SM Mall of Asia. Kia Philippines has officially launched the EV6, a groundbreaking full-electric midsize SUV that has been making waves globally.
We are here in Ayala Tower 1 in the Triangle Gardens because we are launching the Kia EV6 in a combined program between Ayala and Kia. So this is the first time that we're bringing in a fully electric vehicle in the lineup for Kia and of course for Ayala as well.
The Ayala Group of companies prepared the way for the arrival of the Kia EV6 by expanding and strengthening the local EV ecosystem. According to Ayala Corporation President and CEO Bong Kon Sing, the Ayala Group made sure to put the charging architecture in place long before the arrival of the EV6. The Ayala Group expects acceptance of the EVs to grow and become the dominant transport technology in a few years, Kon Sing added. An expanding charging system network is being established by Ayala Land using charging options manufactured and developed by Integrated Microelectronics Inc., also a part of the Ayala Group, and its partner Greenstrom. Kia Philippines is one of the brands being carried by AC Motors, Ayala Corporation's automobile business company that is one of the country's largest multi-brand vehicle distribution groups. Kia is confident that with the Ayala Group expanding the local EV ecosystem, the EV6 will be warmly welcomed by Filipinos.
First, let's look at the design because it's renowned, being recognized IF Design Awardee as well as a Red Dot Design Awardee in 2022. So it looks good, but let me tell you, it drives as good as it looks. It's comfortable, and the best feature it has would be the longest range that it can offer to the buyer. We brought in the Kia EV6 GT line having a range of 528 kilometers. That's long enough to bring you to Baguio and back to Manila on a single charge.
The EV6 GT line is priced at 3,788,000 pesos. It comes with a portable charger, 5 years or 160,000 kilometer vehicle warranty, and 8 years or 160,000 kilometer HV battery system warranty. 5 years of free preventive maintenance service, and 5 years of free 24/7 roadside assistance.
And that's the week that was in motoring. Thank you for joining us. Also, don't forget to check us out on social media.
Until next week here on Motoring Today, now on its 36th year of continuing service to the general motoring public with a lifelong commitment to promote road safety. On behalf of our dad, Butch Gamboa, I'm Ray Louie Gamboa.
And I'm Susie Gamboa. Happy motoring!